I think a lot of you guys can agree with me when I say that high school sucked. I mean, school in general was pretty dog water, but high school was probably the worst of the worst. Despite all of the work, unruly teachers, the hot Cheeto girls, the Edgars, the stoners, and generally all the dumb idiots that derive from that so-called cesspool, I still hold so much regret. No, it's not the kind of regret of doing something really stupid and you regret having done it, but the kind of regret you have when you wish you did something that you didn't. A couple months ago, I myself finally graduated from the hell pit you call an education. And of course, like most people, I was genuinely excited to get out of high school and move on to better things in life. Something I hyped up a bunch for myself throughout the entirety of my senior year. And now that I'm actually out is something crazy for me to process. I actually made it. But then a feeling started to settle in and stayed for a week or two after that. I don't know if any of you felt this feeling as well as I did, but it was a kind of depression, I guess. A feeling of unfulfillment after high school. Starting to miss everything about the one thing I hated. School. I then started to ask myself why. Why do I feel the way that I do about something that I hated with a flaming fury? The answer was simple. I held in regret about missing out on my high school years. I remember back before I started high school, I remember my parents, my dad especially, hyping up high school for me. How it was gonna be great, how I was gonna have the best time of my life. It was gonna be super exciting. Of course, being the type of person I am, who hates the thought of having to sit in a room for an hour straight taking notes for something I definitely not use in the future, I kinda just shrugged it off. Like, whatever, it's just gonna be more work. However, when I actually got to that point of my freshman year, it was actually one of the best times I had ever had going to school. Growing up, I went to a pretty small K through 8 school in the laughable state of California. It was a really small school considering it was a church school, and the denomination in which it was hosted wasn't at all popular to begin with. So there were only like maybe 20, 30 kids. So you can imagine how boring it was. Being with the same people for 9 years straight, doing the same thing over and over again, same routine, all of it just being a drag. Also, some emotional baggage from being in that school, which is a can of worms that I don't think I want to open right now. To sum it up, it was pretty shitty. But then I got out of that school and proceeded to my freshman year of high school. And that's when high school really peaked for me. I was in a new school, no one knew who I was, no one knew my background. It was a fresh start from something that I hated, and now I could execute it. And so I did. I put myself out there. I made friends, acquainted myself with my teachers. I even joined some sports, which I think carried a lot of my freshman year for me. It was awesome. Just looking back at the experiences I had that year, some of the best times that I actually still cherish. But all good things must come to an end, because this all happened back in 2020 when the world-renowned coronavirus hit the fucking world like a semi-truck at Mach heck. I remember that day so vividly, the beginning of an end for me, and I didn't even know it was. It was a cloudy day, pretty ironic due to the circumstances, and I was in my computer science class, sitting next to one of my friends when we both heard the rumor that school was gonna be out for 2 weeks. Obviously not knowing the chaos that would ensue in the future, we were all pretty damn excited about it. Then we fast forward to my last period of the day, English. I remember walking out of my English class, getting stopped by one of my track mates outside the locker room. He tells me that they canceled the entire track season. And in my mind, I was like, damn, that fucking sucks. Then 2 weeks passed by. It eventually became 4 weeks, then a month, then the entire summer. I won't say that COVID was the culprit to my high school disdain, but it sure as hell kind of contributed to it. That and a surprise health issue that rendered me unable to play sports for a little while there, which I said earlier kind of carried my entire high school life up until this point. Then, to make it worse, the cherry on top, my parents decided that we would move out of sunny San Diego into motherflipping Utah. This sequence of events really made my high school life do a complete 180. So much so that the next 2 years of my high school life are so boring that they're not even worth mentioning. In short, I didn't have the stomach to talk to anyone because I was so out of it. Angry at a lot of things, choosing not to do fun things like interact with people, try to make friends, go to the events, and silently scoffing at others who did do those things, being normal teenagers. When in reality, I was kind of the loser, not them. And it took me till my senior year to finally come to that conclusion and rebuild myself the best I could. My senior year of high school would probably come in second in terms of how fun the year was for me. It was basically like my freshman year, but a lot more tame. Like if Canada is the light version of America, then that basically sums up the correlation between my freshman year and my senior year. I made a certain number of friends. I tried my best to acquaint myself with my teachers as much as possible, but at the same time, the amount of scowling at my own dismay during my sophomore and junior year really fucked me sideways. I lost all the social skills I had just by being a recluse. I wasn't able to end my days in high school on as high of a note as my freshman year was, like the same kind of energy, given it was still a lot better than what I was during my mid-years. But do you guys see the pattern? With my freshman year and my senior year, actually trying to be the best possible version of yourself, putting yourself out there and trying to get more involved, it really makes a difference when you compare it to my mid-years. Doing absolutely nothing. Being an absolute recluse and wanting nothing to do with society. Pointing blame at something that really has no other fault but myself. I guess a key takeaway you can get from this is that, like most things, high school will be what you make it out to be. Depending on how you go about it, it will either be some of the best times of your life or the worst. And oddly enough, I was able to experience both sides of the same coin throughout the entirety of my high school days. Listen, do yourself a favor. Don't do what I did. Don't be the guy that thinks about school or generally anything in life so negatively. Try your best to put yourself out there and get more involved. You want to go make some friends? Then go make some friends. You want to join a sport? You want to join a club? Then go do that. Get out there, make some friends, make some great memories. Don't let the negativity you feel stop you from having fun and potentially enjoying something, to the point where it becomes an awesome memory that never fades away. Trust me, as someone who's seen both sides of the same coin, just do yourself that favor and live high school to the fullest. And hey, that doesn't even have to apply to high school either. Maybe you're at a high school. Maybe you're maybe you're having some kind of trouble at work or like church with the same correlation, I guess, or something like that. Just do yourself that favor and live life to the fullest. Shit.